Oh my god, they added sulfur cube bombs. Top of the morning to you laddies, it's me, Ariana Grande, and welcome back to Minecraft Snapshot. Oh man, big warning, today's snapshot is actually a banger, dude. Let's get into this. Creating a brand new world. To dive into today's snapshot video, let's take a look at biome changes. Inside of a brand new Minecraft world, locate the biome Sulfur Caves. As we can see here, the Sulfur Cave biome, this little place we are calling Home Sweet Home in this new update is still as common as ever. Now this past week, over a series of videos and Twitter posts that went insanely viral, since last week's controversial Sulfur Cave overhaul, well, opinions have been pretty much thrown all over the internet here as to what Mojang should do when it comes to tough blocks, granite blocks, and the rest of the biome's generation. Alright, now unfortunately, this Sulfur Cave biome that I found right here, it has only generated basically a big aquifer. Shaboom! Big Sulfur Cave biome right here. We could see in this week's snapshot the granite and tough generation that is generating all over this cave biome. It still seems to be exactly the same as it was last week. When it comes to the spikes, I believe they're the same too, even though in this one, they look to be a little bit more prominent together. Now, after all of my testing that I went through over the course of the past week, I have noticed that glow lichen on Bedrock Edition is still insanely common. Meanwhile, on Java, it's just not really here. After living with the Sulfur Cave biome for about a week, maybe my opinion on their changes aren't as harsh as they once were, but the biome still is definitely not looking anywhere near as cool as it was in the beginning. That all goes to say, unless they've tweaked some things and didn't mention it in the snapshot changelog, they've done that before. It seems like when it comes to the Sulfur Cave biome, there aren't very many biome generation changes in this week's snapshot. I definitely do miss the version of the Sulfur Cave that at least had a little bit more sulfur pools generating, because now in all of the Sulfur Caves that I'm finding, it seems like the puddles of water with the potent sulfur and nausea, they're not actually very common in this biome now. Puddles of water, potent sulfur. If I am able to find one inside of this snapshot, we have the potent sulfur in the water, just like this. Not too much new is really going to happen. Potent sulfur still kind of works exactly how it worked before, except now it doesn't. Ladies, gentlemen, and lovers, we have geysers. But I hate to do it to you. If you haven't yet, smash like, subscribe. My brain is already churning on new uses for the things that have been added in the snapshot, so you're not going to want to miss that later this week. And yes, the feature that I know you are all really on the edge of your seat about, Minecraft Server Management Protocol 3.0.0. Oh yeah. Alright, so into this week's snapshot, a lot of technical stuff has gone down. From my brief time with it, it looks like world generation is being tackled and changed again, which is quite odd. For example, we have this new matching biome world generation type block predicate, and then we also have an addition of a tree feature configuration below trunk providers. If I am not incorrect, I believe this below trunk provider stuff might currently be used by the azalea tree, something like this that grows naturally in your world. It would have below the trunk, kind of like below the geyser, a bunch of blocks stemming all the way down to the biome. Oh, what was that? Don't worry, buddy. But then we also have a lot of more technical changes to things like density functions, interval selection as well. Another thing that we have here, the removal of weird scaled sampler. Long story short, it's a lot of weird random changes here relating to world generation. Alright, I know you're on the edge of your seat waiting for it. Take a look at this sulfur spring right here. In this week's snapshot, the spring structures have not been changed at all. They're exactly the same shaping and everything like that. But now, this week, randomly, from time to time, if we take a look at this spring structure here, we'll be able to see that there is potent sulfur and magma below it. Oh, and listen to those sounds, dude. It creates a geyser. This combination of blocks with a water source above it will now create a geyser that'll fire off into the sky at a random height and at a random time interval. Alright, so a good way to check this out here is inside of my super flat world for the snapshot cycle. Here we can see this stuff randomly firing, and some of it sometimes getting a little bit taller and whatnot. And the sounds for these geysers too. Oh man. Wow, so it seems like the sounds, in my opinion, right off the bat, the distance at which they play maybe needs to be increased. It feels like you need to be right on top of them to hear them right now, but Oh, wow, that's an HD particle. Like, that's a smooth animation. It's a bunch of smoke and water being shot up into the air. Random intervals, random heights, and oh, wow, it is so beautiful. I love how Mojang has done this block combination thing, too. So if you want the sulfur water to be sulfury, but no geyser, well, just skip the magma block. It's no big deal. Now, this is an interesting change here. We should have seen this coming from a mile away because of this sulfur structure. Like, just like we took a look at before, well, we found out that every single one of them, the spring that generates in your world, always had magma blocks below the potent sulfur. Geysers, we could have predicted it from a long ways away, dude. This is so cool. Now, if you were wondering, maybe, can I go back home sweet home and recreate a geyser on my own? Well, the answer here to that one is absolutely yes. So I have a floor of magma blocks, then I have a floor of potent sulfur. I'm going to go ahead and get all the sulfur bubbly noises. And then we'll see here, pretty much any minute, that randomly geysers will shoot up perfectly in line with our block combination is how this is going to work. So, that's shooting up, and it's all random, dude. This is so cool. I love what Mojang has done with this. That's going to be beautiful for builds. Oh, man, all of these smoke particles, too. I think these are brand new textures and particles that have been added to the game. And it just sounds so good and alive. It sounds like a literal waterfall. Like, actually, dude, they could use that texture near the bottom of water to literally make a waterfall now. Now, inside of the game, in order to actually pull all of this off, we have a couple of new categories of particles. We've got geyser base, geyser poop, geyser plume, and then just plain old geyser. Now, unfortunately here, because of world generation and the sulfur pools being a little bit less common, and because when they do generate, it doesn't seem that any magma blocks will actually generate under the ground. Well, the idea of moving down into a cave and actually finding a geyser, well, that's not really going to happen unless you actually build it and make it happen. Also, we can see here that when there is a geyser, we have little bubble particle effects happening as well as the sulfur plumes. Under the ground, though, under a bunch of blocks, it doesn't matter. The geyser will still technically work if you decide to, like, go under the ground and build one, set it up. Oh, it scares me every time. But actual access to the sky doesn't matter at all. It just works. An interesting strategy to not incorporate any suggested biome changes to this biome at all, and instead swap over to a really cool other feature that actually, because of how this is set up, something like this right here will count as a geyser and should in time actually, well, you know, like geyser all over the place. Oh, had the wrong sulfur block there, but you get the point. I could literally just put sulfur, magma block, and dump water, let it pour all over, and it'll turn into a geyser in time too. Oh, man, but geysers are definitely not the only cool thing added to this week's snapshot. I never thought that Mojang would actually do it, but they've added sulfur cube bombs. One final thing that I'd like to say before we move on from the geyser, though, I love the idea that Potato Man had here to let us activate the geyser with redstone somehow as well, because then we could use it as like a big notification that something is done, which would be really, really cool. Alright, sulfur cube, block of TNT. I punch sulfur cube with block of TNT. Nothing happens. I light sulfur cube with block of TNT inside of it. And oh my god, the sulfur cube, if you have TNT inside of it, it will now actually be able to blow up. Oh, wow. Alrighty, so take a look at this. I have the TNT inside of it. I light it. Then I can go ahead and actually hit it around and move the sulfur cube with TNT inside of it while it's, like, primed to blow up. And then in time, it blows up, eliminating the TNT and the sulfur cube. This new archetype of a sulfur cube, as it is called by the developers, has quite a bit of depth to it as well. Let's have a sulfur cube that I have lit on fire and it's going to explode. Then I have another sulfur cube with TNT nearby. When this sulfur cube blows up, it will actually light the other sulfur cube and explode at a random time interval. So that will mean here, for example, let's say I had 3 sulfur cube with TNT. I go ahead and light this middle one. The other ones with TNT are definitely close enough to be able to catch that explosion. Well, as we can see there, they didn't explode exactly in sync. Here's another way we can test it one more time. We'll go ahead and light this one. This fuse length, as you can see here, is going to be consistent and actually quite long. But then when we... they don't blow up exactly at the same time. It's all spaced out. Couple of interesting things about this sulfur TNT cube. So when I put TNT inside of the sulfur cube, like I showed off, I can hit it all day long. It doesn't matter. If I use a pair of shears on this right there, I can actually take the TNT out just like normal. But if I light the TNT and then try and shear it, that's not going to work. And the TNT explosion, well, it's a TNT explosion. It could definitely damage and harm me. Another interesting thing here, this sword right here is very dangerous. It's got flame on it, so that would light this thing on fire, right? Wait a second. Did I mix up my fire enchantments? No, I didn't. It just doesn't work yet. So these swords should be working, according to the changelog, but that doesn't work quite yet. Instead, what we could do here, we've got our bow called the Burn Baby. We go ahead and shoot a flaming arrow at this thing, and voila, you could go ahead and prime this thing just like that. While the TNT is primed, you can continue hitting it and moving it around. Now let's say maybe I had this setup going on. I've got a sulfur cube with TNT inside of it next to other TNT. This is going to explode, and that will prime the other TNT too. The other interesting thing that you can notice that is not happening here is baby sulfur cubes. They will not be formed when your sulfur cube explodes with a bomb inside of it. Legitimately, dude, I cannot believe that Mojang added this into the game, but man, that is so cool. You already know that I'm going to be testing this so much here. Like, for example, let's say we lit this thing, we put it on a lead, and then I run with it. I can drag this thing around here, and with a lead at maximum distance, oh man, it doesn't even hurt me. So I could maybe take a lead and lead you to lead, and then maybe one more lead to you, and then light this. I think I kind of messed this all up a little bit. You know, go ahead and light that one that I have a bunch of other sulfur cubes on a string, and if I move like enough and move to the right, yep, they're going to blow up in in a chain, dude. This is so cool. Okay, man, Mojang with the geysers, with sulfur cube TNT, maybe chaos cubed actually is chaotic now. Smash a like, subscribe for even more snapshot videos, and stay tuned for hopefully a chaos cubed stream tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.